Okay, we will start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 12. Can somebody read text?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll start.
Yeah, please.
इति युक्तो धर्मराजेन सर्वं तत् समवर्णयत् यथानुभूतं क्रमसो विना यदुकुलक्षयम्.
Translation covered by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: Thus, being questioned by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced, except news of annihilation of the Yadu dynasty.
13 also we can read.
Yes. नान्व अप्रियं दुर्विषं रणं स्वयम् उपस्थितं नवेद्यत सकरुणं धुक्तेन द्रष्टुम् अक्षमः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see the Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable and unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord. Purport: According to Niti Shastra, civic laws, one should not speak an unpalatable truth to cause distress to others. Distress comes upon us in its own way by the laws of nature. So one should not aggravate it by propaganda. For a compassionate soul like Vidura, especially in his dealings with the beloved Pandavas, it was almost impossible to disclose an unpalatable piece of news like the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, he purposely refrained from it.
Okay. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj is questioning Vidura. So, first of all, Yudhishthira Maharaj did not ask much about Lord. He was asking about others. Now, Vidura also knew what happened. So, by this time, the whole Yadu dynasty has finished. They all gone back. So we know the past time how Yadu dynasty is. They fought themselves and they killed each. Of course, it's Krishna's will. Krishna wanted them to come back. So he made this arrangement and they all gone back. So, but Vidura did not reveal to Yudhishthira Maharaj because Yudhishthira cannot take it. It will be very, very hurting to him. So Vidura was holding on it. So here, that's why Prabhupada says, Niti Shastra, if something bad news should not be given, straightforward. You should be, like bring the other person to up to the level he can receive the news. You know that normally when you go to the doctors, if the patient has got very big disease, doctor will take sufficient time so that mentally that patient is up to to receive the, otherwise with that news itself will get heart attack. So because he'll not be able to take. Similarly, somebody's relative passed away. They will not reveal the truth directly. They say, yeah, so and so not well. Then they'll say he's admitted. Then they say it's an ICU. Then, it'll bring up that person, give sufficient time for that person to, absorb the shock. Then otherwise the shock itself become disaster. So, and that's it, method we followed in generally. So here also, when we speak to the person, when we communicate, we should be very careful where the good news should be given, where bad news should be given, and what sequence should be given. Also, good news also, we should be careful. I mean, there was a kind of incident. The person won a lottery, the other person gave the news, and that person got heart attack because he could not take that good news. So good news also should be given very, very small dose so that the person mentally prepared for it. So here also, Prabhupada says that Mahatma Vidura is so compassionate because as a preachers, we should know what to say, when to say, what circumstances, what kind of language we should use, what kind of a language we should not use. We should be aware of it, and time, place, circumstances we should be used. That's why Prabhupada also quotes from Bhagavad Gita. We should not, agitate others by our speech. The speech should be as much as sweet. At the same time, communicate the message. Many times people use some sarcastic or hard words. The words are so bad. They are worse than a bullet from the gun, because bullet from the gun maybe kill the body, but the words will hurt. That person will never forget, even if he survive. So that's why words has to be used. I mean, Prabhupada says that you communicate the truth. Of course, we cannot, as a devotees, preachers, we cannot tell lie, but put it in such a way that that person takes in a good way. That's the art of communication. We should not use harsh words. So our words has to, and should not use sarcastic words, because sarcastic words will be sometimes very, very disastrous. People want to say something, but they'll say in indirect way, very, very, kind of a sarcastic way. That should not happen. Tell them straight, but very, very palatable way, so that that person able to take it, and maybe if required, bring up the situation such that so that he is able to receive it. So that's the, as a devotees, we should practice that, because here also Vidura does that. Vidura waits sufficient time. It doesn't reveal everything at a shot. Okay, so we'll move on to the next sloka. With Vishnu Chakra Thakur also says the verse explains scriptural reasons why he did not tell them about the disappearance of those. Yeah. Okay, we'll read the 14.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
1 minute, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. कांचित् कलाम् अत वत्सेत् सत्कृतो देववत् सुखम् भ्रातुर्ज्येष्ठस्य श्रेयस्कृत् सर्वेषां सुखम् आवहान्. Krishna. Translation. Thus, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his eldest brother, and in this way bring happiness to all the others. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Sri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Saintly persons like Vidura must be treated as well as denizens from heaven. In those days, denizens of heavenly planets used to visit homes like that of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and sometimes persons like Arjuna and others used to visit higher planets. Narada is a spaceman who can travel unrestrictedly not only within the material universes but also in the spiritual universes. Even Narada used to visit the place of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and what to speak of other celestial demigods. It is only the spiritual culture of the people concerned that makes interplanetary travel possible. Even in the present body, Maharaja Yudhishthira therefore received Vidura in the manner of reception offered to the demigods. Mahatma Vidura had already adopted the renounced order of life, and therefore he did not return to his paternal place to enjoy some material comforts. He accepted out of his own mercy that was offered to him by Maharaja Yudhishthira. But the purpose of living in the palace was to deliver his elder brother Dhritarashtra, who was too much materially attached. Dhritarashtra lost all his state-owned descendants in the fight with Maharaja Yudhishthira, and still, due to his sense of helplessness, he did not feel ashamed to accept the charity and hospitality of Maharaja Yudhishthira. On the part of Maharaja Yudhishthira, it was quiet in order to maintain his uncle in a befitting manner. But acceptance of such magnanimous hospitality by Dhritarashtra was not at all desirable. He accepted it because he thought that there was no alternative. Vidura, there, Vidura particularly came to enlighten Dhritarashtra and to give him a lift to the highest status of spiritual cognition. It is the duty of enlightened souls to deliver the fallen ones, and Vidura came for that reason. But talks of spiritual enlightenment are so refreshing that while instructing Dhritarashtra, Vidura attracted the attention of all the members of the family, and all of them took pleasure in hearing him patiently. This is the way of spiritual realization. The message should be heard attentively, and if spoken by a realized soul, it will act on the dormant heart of the conditioned soul. And by continuously hearing, one can attain perfect stage of self-realization.
Hare
Correct.
Krishna. This is again wonderful purport to the Prabhupada is given. So Vidura continues here. So here Sloka says, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of the eldest brother, and this way bring happiness to all others. So whole purpose Vidura came back not to enjoy the palace or not to even meet people. He just came to correct his elder brother, because he knew very well elder brother has made a mistake by not giving the rightful shares of the Pandavas, and in the process he got punished nicely. His all 100 children be killed, and his whole army is defeated, and the Pandava Yudhishthira has been made king now. Now, where is the Dhritarashtra staying? He actually is staying with the Yudhishthira Maharaj, who actually is enemy, whom the Dhritarashtra wanted to kill in so many ways. Duryodhana tried all his possible way to kill Pandavas, and Dhritarashtra directly, indirectly supported Duryodhana. So that way, the Pandavas are Dhritarashtra's enemies. Now he lost everybody. Now he's staying with them. So this is where Vidura comes. In the later verse, we can see what kind of words Vidura uses to enlighten or educate his elder brother. So Prabhupada in this purport writes that the saintly person like Vidura must be treated like a denizens of the heaven. So the Devatas. So the saintly persons like Devatas, they come here for a certain purpose. They don't come enjoy their material things. They come here to give certain messages or rectify somebody. Here, Vidura has come here to rectify Dhritarashtra. Prabhupada also talks about other denizens of heaven, and he also talks about Narada Muni. Narada Muni like a spaceman, and he could go any planet anytime. Today, the modern scientists are inventing certain satellites and things like to go to different planets. and takes so much money and so much effort. But person like Narada Muni could go to any planet anytime, go to Kailasha, Vaikunta, Goloka, anywhere. And not only that, in just Dwapara Yuga, not very far, just 5,000 years before, Arjuna could go to in the same body to Indraloka. That is even the forget Narada Muni. Person like Arjuna had gone to met Indra. So that was possible. It's not that we required a special aircraft. So what is required at the qualification of the mentality, the mental education, the mantra. So that spiritual mantra is so potent. Even the weapons like Brahmastra, they are much better than our nuclear weapons, because just by mantra that Brahmastra can go and hit at a opposite person and it'll come back. That is the potency of that. So here also Prabhupada talks about how this great personalities could travel any planet at any time. So this is the potency of our Sanatana Dharma, which today people somehow don't understand, or if they understand also, they make mockery out of it because they don't know what the reality is that. So that's the point Prabhupada talks about. We as a practicing devotees, we should appreciate that and try to give this knowledge to others. So interplanetary travel was possible. It doesn't require any other equipment or kind of a big satellite for that. But the whole purpose he came to deliver his elder brother. Now, as a practicing devotees, as bhaktas, it's our job is to give this message to all our loved one. Because if something good happens, it's our duty to give it to our loved one first. Our the close relatives, brothers, we should bring them to Krishna consciousness, because not coming to Krishna consciousness means they're losing something. They're suffering. Material world is suffering. Dukhalayam. So no way they can be happy. They may kind of say that I'm happy, but no. The material world is bring with the sadness. The package is there. Maybe today they are happy. The package is all getting ready. It will come. So it is our duty is to give Krishna consciousness so that they get relieved from there. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says we should be para dukkha dukhi. So looking at the others suffering, are they suffering today or they're going to suffer in future? We should give the spiritual education. That's exactly Vidura does. Vidura, knowing to that what kind of a condition is to the Tarashtra is that. Later he says to Tarashtra, to brother, you are staying in your enemy Bhima's house and he's giving a reminiscence to you. Like a dog. That kind of a word uses. But by this time, he has brought the consciousness of the Tarashtra so that he can receive the knowledge from Vidura. Not that he just came and started bashing it. See, brought up the situation. That's again a skill of a preacher. Preachers, everybody should think what kind of a situation is the person, what is the time place comes in, accordingly give this message. So later on, we can see how Dhritarashtra kind of quits home and goes. In the coming verse, we can see. But the point is that as a preachers, as devotees, we all should become preachers. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says everybody should become preacher. Mora Agya, he says, my order, everybody should become preacher. We should go out and preach. Somebody may say, no, I'm not qualified. I don't know. No, we are all qualified. What is the qualification? Simple qualification, read Prabhupada books and repeat it. That's enough. Once, I think in London, some devotees, Prabhupada told him to go and preach. I think that devotee said, I don't know. Then I think Shamsuna Prabhu's daughter, Saraswati, 3 years old, she was running around. So Prabhupada called her and asked Saraswati, hey Saraswati, who is Krishna? Immediately she said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead. That's all she said. Prabhupada said, yes, this is enough. Go and tell everybody. Go and tell everybody that Krishna is Supreme Personality Godhead. Chant his name. That's it. It doesn't require big philosophy to know. The point is that whatever I know should share with others. Each one, teach one while being taught by one. That's the philosophy. Because then only we can spread. If I think that, no, I will learn everything, I'll become perfect, I'll become superhero, so super knowledgeable, then I'll preach. It's never going to happen. In this life, never going to happen. So that doesn't exist. So whatever I know, I should share and keep studying also. I always should hear from seniors. I should give it to others. This is the proper philosophy. Each one teach one, will be taught by one. That's the philosophy. So the point is that all of us should become preachers. Our neighbors, our apartments, our friends, wherever possible. Arrange small organizations, small satsanga. One family, two family, four family, five families. Okay, arrange. Give them. And that also doesn't require. Just read proper the books together. Enough. That's way, and chant together. Make them sit and chant Hare Krishna mantra. This is it. That's the preaching that we can do. For that doesn't require big education. So that's what exactly Vidura doing that. Vidura, appreciated everybody. Everybody was ready to hear now. So Prabhupada Bright writes, he gave him a lift to the higher status of spiritual cognition. And then he says the duty of enlightened souls deliver the fallen souls, because everybody in the material world is fallen. So it's duty of all of us, because we got some knowledge, we have to give it to others. We should not be, Prabhupada says, we should be Brahmana. Brahmana doesn't keep anything for himself. Whatever gets, Dakshina gets, also he distributes. Knowledge also he distributes. He will not keep anything for himself. But if he keeps himself, will become Kripana. Kanjus, Hindi, kanjus, and to the next is makichus. I'll take everything for myself. Dil mange more. I want more, but I don't want to give it to others. We should give it to others. So that's Brahmana quality. So yesterday I was talking about, there are two kind of devotees. There is Bhajananandis and Goshchanandis. Bhajananandis are devotees. Yes, they'll practice nicely. They chant, they read scriptures. They do it for themselves. They want to perfect themselves. That's it. But Goshchanandis, not that. They just study, they chant, they do a sadhana, and also they go out and preach others. So Prabhupada wanted all of us to become Goshchanandis, second category, not the first category. So we all should go out. So that's why if you see in ISKCON, the morning Mangalarati, after Prasadam, everybody should go out. No brahmachari should stay in the temple. They should go out either distributing books or doing Nagar Sankirtan and come back in the evening. So that spread this message of Krishna to as many people. So this is the duty of every enlightened soul to deliver fallen souls. So that's why Prabhupada says we have to create an atmosphere hearing. And once they start hearing continuously, one can attain a perfect stage of the realization. So I have to hear and I have to speak. Without hearing, I cannot speak. Because again, what goes in, what comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. If I hear nicely, I'll be able to speak nicely. So we can see in a devotee community, when they speak itself, we can make out how much they're hearing. The words they use, the philosophy they understand, we can make out. So that's why at least one lecture of Prabhupada per day, one sloka per day, whatever possible, we should read. Of course, chanting 16 rounds. This is the kind of a standard we should set ourselves. That's why then we are able to speak, because what gone inside will come out. If I don't hear, I cannot speak. That's why continuously hearing will attain one more perfect stage. So we all should, that's why Bhagavatam discussion should happen daily. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. That's why the Acharya is saying this. That should happen. So people may say, I don't have time. No, everybody have time. It's only the priority. I have time for eating. I have time for sleeping. I have time for everything else. But I don't have time for chanting and reading Bhagavatam. That is not excuse. Okay, we'll read one more sloka. Who want to read? Who is allocated? Anyone? 15? If not, anyone, please read. Over. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please go ahead. Abhibrad Aryam Dandham Yatavad Agha Karishu Yavad Dadhadhara Shudratham 1 second. Sapad Varsha Satam Yamaha. Translation purport by Divine Grace Bhakti.
Adiprat Yama Dandam
Yeah,
Yada
we can
Yadavat
read the
Ida
translation.
Karishu Yavat Tatara Suratratvam Sabat Varsha Sadam Yamaha. Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. As long as Vidura played the part of Sudra, being cursed by Mandaka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamaraja to punish those who committed sinful acts. Purport: Vidura, born in the womb of Sudra woman, was forbidden even to be a party of royal heritage along with his brothers Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Then how could he occupy the post of preacher to instruct such learned kings and Kshatriyas as Dhritarashtra and Maharaja Yudhishthira? The first answer is that even though it is accepted that he was a Sudra by birth, because he renounced the world for spiritual enlightenment, Maitreya, and was thoroughly educated by him in transcendental knowledge. He was quite competent to occupy the post of an acharya or spiritual preceptor. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anyone who is conversant in the transcendental knowledge or the science of Godhead, be he a Brahmana or a Sudra, a householder or a sannyasi, is eligible to become a spiritual master. Even in the ordinary moral codes maintained by Chanakya Pandita, the great politician and moralist, there is no harm in taking lessons from a person who may be by birth less than a Sudra. This is one part of the answer. The other is Vidura was not actually Sudra. He was he was to play the part of so-called Sudra for 100 years, being cursed by Mandaka Muni. He was the incarnation of Yamaraja, one of the 12 Mahajanas, on the level with such exalted personalities as Brahma, Narada, Shiva, Kapila, Bhishma, Prahalada, etc. Being a Mahajana, it is the duty of Yamaraja to preach the cult of devotion to the people of the world, as Narada, Brahma, and other Mahajanas do. But Yamaraja is always busy in his Plutonic kingdom, punishing the.
1 second. Sorry. 1 second. It's where we stop.
Yes, Prabhuji. When Yamaraja, he is above all munde in Salpa Melena. Therefore, Yamaraja has do more work than in
punishing the doers of
Okay.
sinful acts.
There are more wrongdoers than righteous men. Therefore, Yamaraja has to do more work than the other demigods who are also authorized agents of the Supreme Lord. But he wanted to preach the glories of the Lord, and therefore, by the will of the Lord, he was cursed by Mandaka Muni to come into the world in the carnation of Vidura and work very hard as a great devotee. Such a devotee is neither a Sudra nor a Brahmana. He is transcendental to such divisions of mundane society, just as the personality of Godhead assumes his incarnation as a hog, but he is neither a hog nor a Brahma. He is above all mundane creatures. The Lord and his different authorized devotees sometimes have to play the role of many lower creatures to claim the conditioned souls. But both the Lord and his pure devotees are always in the transcendental position. When Yamaraja thus incarnated himself as Vidura, his post was appreciated by Aryama, one of the many sons of Kashyapa and Aditi. The Adityas are sons of Aditi, and there are 12 Adityas. Aryama is one of the 12 Adityas, and therefore it was quite possible for him to take charge of the office of Yamaraja during his 100 years absence in the form of Vidura. The conclusion is that Vidura was never a Sudra but was greater than the purest type of Brahmana. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we all know the story how Vidura became the Shudra, because he was actually his Yamaraj. So once so happened that the Mundakamuni was arrested by the kings and he was punished. So because some thieves, I think, entered the Mundakamani's ashrama. So along with that, they arrested Mundakamani also. So some punishment is given by the king to the Mundakamani. So Mundakamani asked Yamaraj, how this can happen? Why I was been punished like this? So that Yamaraj said, it is because in the previous life, you kind of, I think, hurt an ant with the pierce the eye of an ant, something he said. That's the reason you got a punishment like this. So then Mundakamani got angry. He cursed Yamaraj to become Shudra. See, this is again the Leela of the Lord, because he wanted Yamaraj to come as a Vidura and do this pastime here. But the point is that the purest devotee, Yamaraj, also can be cursed. And again, Yamaraj is not a person, it's a position. Here Prabhupada talks about when the Yamaraj become Vidura, Aryama took over the charge of the Yamaraj. Yamaraj is a post. All the Devatas is kind of a post. Somebody will occupy. Today, somebody is Indra. Today, somebody is Brahma. So each one will occupy the post, and when the term is finished, they will leave. Like a minister. Today, somebody is a finance minister. Tomorrow, somebody else is a finance minister. Like that. It's not a person. So, but here also talks about how Shudra is. Bhagavad Gita Krishna, he says, Chaturvanya Maya Sista Guna Karma Bhagsha. He says, I divided this Chaturvarna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, based on that guna and karma, not by birth. So here, just because Shudra, the Vidura was born to Shudrani, is not Shudra, because his guna and karma is great. He is a purest devotee. So Prabhupada set an example when ISKCON is established. The foreigners who had no idea of the Sanatana Dharma, but because of Prabhupada mercy, they become the purest devotees. Their birth may not be the Brahmana, but today, the whole world, they are the greatest Brahmanas. It's not just Brahmanas, Brahmana Vaishnavas. They preach all over the world. So now Vidura is not ordinary person. He was one of the Mahajan. The 12 Mahajans names also given, like Prahlad and Yamaraj and Bhishma, all this. He was in that level. So, but the point is that Yamaraj also was doing so much service, punishing the wrong people, punishing the criminals in the hell is a kind of a very tedious job. So he also wanted some relaxation. He wanted to get relief from the job and do something else. So Prabhupada says, thus Yamaraj was really time to take leave from his responsible position. So punish wrong rivers. So he made this Leela so that he can get out, so that he could go to all the Tirtha places. We had a kind of heard something from the Duryodhana, and then he left. He did all the Tirtha Yatra. As Yamaraj, he could not have done that. So again, this Leela, the point we need to understand that Yamaraj also can be cursed. So, but again, the point is that nobody is born the Brahmana, nobody is born Shudra. Yes, in Kali Yuga, everybody is born Shudras. but we can develop our consciousness over a period of time. We can develop our level of ashrama above and become Brahmana, or depends upon our activity, one can become Shudra or Vaishya. So Prabhupada also talks about Lord also takes a different form. Lord takes a form of hog. Our Lord takes a form of kurma, or the fish. Our Lord takes a form of lion, half lion, half man. Lord takes different form. Not that because Lord become hog or Lord become fish. No, he has taken that form for a particular purpose, particular leela. Similarly, the pure devotees of the Lord take certain birth to do certain leela for that particular time, so that the leela of the Lord is done. So conclusion is that Vidura was never a Shudra, was a greater than purest type of Brahmana. So again, for us, we don't have to worry which family I have taken birth. I have to practice my devotion service. I have to elevate myself to become purest Vaishnava, transcendental or Shuddha Sattva Bhakti. So that's the level I should aspire to become. With this, I'll stop here. So devotees can share comments or any questions. Yeah, who want to start? Maybe Asha Mataji can start. Yes, Asha Mataji, want to start?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My takeaway, I understood other things. You said that as devotee we should preach. That is, I understood, because we hesitate sometimes. We think that I don't know anything, and then we say that we should learn first and then we should teach others. But one more thing, you said when we get into Krishna consciousness and we understand this, we should, this is a question actually, we should share with our family members. But sometimes they are not ready to take it. They understand what it is. I understand what it is, but then it's very difficult to put into their head what it is. So it is not that I'm not, I know I have to share this with my loved ones, but then it is also they have to take. So the only we can put in our effort, but whether they take it or not is a big question, Prabhuji.
Okay, so two aspects there. One, generally for our family members, preaching sometimes difficult because their familiarity is there. For example, wife preaching husband, or son speaking mother, but doesn't work because the familiarity and all those things. So such places, as much as possible, try them to connect somebody else, because they may not listen the loved one unless have the relation is so good. That's the one thing. But second part is that we should chant and pray for that person extra. Suppose if you're chanting 4 rounds, or suppose somebody chants 16 rounds, chant 1 round extra for that person. That on his behalf we chant. Or daily pray to the Supreme Lord, please, please help him to take a Krishna consciousness. Krishna will hear your parents and the prayers. That way,
Yeah.
it's easier.
It is difficult to make the elders understand, but it is very easy to make the children understand, and they quickly take it also. But older people, those who have grown up, it is very, very difficult. Yeah,
Yes.
what
Brain-
you said, I shall try.
So many other things. It's difficult to take out. So, yeah, simply pray and possible connect them to somebody else whom you think they can possibly can listen. Indirectly, or give some books or do something which they will somehow.
It is not that they are atheists or something.
Yeah.
They are into God conscious, but they cannot make a difference. What is Krishna conscious? What is God conscious?
True. Yeah, that's how our kind of upbringing was like that. So that becomes difficult, especially in our society. It's very difficult. See, that's the reason Prabhupada went to America. He could easily preach them. They took up very easily. But in India, he could not. Nobody listened to him. So because we have so much preconceived notions, even we keep on arguing. Simple reason. Why Krishna? Why Vishnu? That's the argument. Forget Krishna, Vishnu. Just chant. We are not doing that. I will not chant. I will not read, but I'll keep on arguing. I'll keep on questioning. This is the attitude we have. So forget everything. Simply chant the holy name. Simply read. Things will be okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Lakshmi Mata, do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nothing, Prabhuji.
Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
12 and 13, I understood one should not reveal the truth directly so as to avoid sudden repercussion of unwanted consequences. The words are so powerful, thrash anyone's self-confidence, and devotee must learn the art of communication as guided by spiritual literature. And in text 14, even after thorough defeating of Dhritarashtra, continue to stay with Vithura because of evergreen material desire for him. Whereas Vidura is constantly attempted to guide for liberation of the soul of elder brother. I understand here with my experience, I must have adequate credit of bhakti in my credit. Then only I can share, Prabhuji. Otherwise, it is very difficult for me also to, unless I have adequate bhakti in my credit, I may not be able to share, I think.
We should make an attempt, bro. So
Uh,
Krishna sees our
no,
effort.
I attempt, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
but very rarely we see a breakthrough. Uh,
That we don't know when Krishna will arrange. So we don't worry don't
true,
worry about the result. You
true.
put our effort.
But there are some impact. That
Yeah,
much I'm sure. I'm making adequate impact. That's what I
definitely.
feel. But
Definitely.
ultimately, what I feel, I should also be
Course.
having adequate credit of bhakti in my this
Yeah.
thing. Then
Improve sadhana
only
nicely will help.
uh,
Let's chant
vipassana.
our rounds nicely. Let's read Bhagavatam nicely. Let's do our sadhana. Then
Yes,
it will be better.
we must attempt all possible effort to share Krishna consciousness to all loved one in our life. Everyone must preach. Simply lead after reading Srila Prabhupada's literature and Prabhupada, listening to Srila Prabhupada's lectures. That will strengthen my confidence in preaching. Brahmanas share everything to others. So I must also acquire that quality. I must share. I must learn the art of sharing also, including bhakti. And that bhajanti goti and
No, not
Bastanti,
no. The
almost like
Oshyanandis and Bhajanandis.
Bhajanantis and
Oshyan.
Gajananti.
Ghoshyan. Ghoshyanand.
Ghostanandi. One must be like a Ghostanandi, attentively hearing, well enabled everyone to emerge as a good preacher. One must hear attentively. Then Shravana, that is more important, so that one can emerge as a good preacher. And Vithura, Yamaraja, Mundakamani story of killing, and that I have understood, Prabhuji. So no one is exempted. Everyone is subject to punishment when they do wrong this thing. From that, from Vidura, I can understand. He is supposed to be one of the Mahajanas. Actually, he is one of the Mahajanas. In spite of that, he is punished. Even our uh, 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 ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ Bhishma. Bhishma is also punished in the same way because of his wrongdoings. So
Yeah.
that I must bear in mind not to do anything harmful, anything defective. And guna and karma is greater than birth. So I understand I must acquire good guna and karma. All my attitudes should be in that way, and I need not to worry about my birth, irrespective of my birth. Because of my good guna and karma, definitely I can emerge as a good Brahmana Vaishnava. And Vidura is one among 12 Mahajanas. Kali Yuga, everyone is Shudra. Lord takes the different forms of
Avatar.
incarnation. Likewise, pure devotees also take different forms to deliver the Lord's instructions. That much I have understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Shridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Vidura comes here to rectify his elder brother, like how saintly persons come to enlighten the normal people. All the demigods used to travel from one planet to another for some purposes. Vidura is the incarnation of Yamaraja. He is born in Shudra's womb, but that is because of the cursing of Manduka Muni. But he doesn't have the qualities of Shudra. He is the purest type of Brahmana. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So my takeaway for today is whatever knowledge we have in this Krishna consciousness, whatever little knowledge we have to preach.
Yeah.
Krishna loves a person who preaches.
Small programs we can organize. It's once a week. Some bhajans, some Gita reading, some japa. That will help. Yes. Shruti Mataji, anything you want to share?
Nothing, Prabhuji, nothing.
Umar Shankar Pro, anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Mostly everything was explained by everybody, all the devotees. Hare Krishna. And in this one, I can hear of the story which Prabhupada has asked the child, who is Krishna. The child answered that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Even if you start simply by saying Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, then everybody is trained to ask who, how, where, why in this materialistic world. If they ask that kind of questions itself, then we will ultimately refer to the reading and as well as our spiritual masters and gurus. So actually the preaching can start easily, Prabhuji. Just the one single sentence will suffice, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
100%. Varsha Mataji, any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, nothing. I mean, today's takeaway is like I should use the words very carefully and not to hurt others, and sarcastically it should not be used. And this each one preach one is a debatable concept for me, Prabhuji. I mean, yeah, I mean, there can lead to many
When Prabhupada
superstitions.
said that, it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, they can lead to many superstitions. No, like from childhood, we heard that crow is a bad omen and all. If someone touch, I mean, these are all created only, no, Prabhuji, all our ways. So someone might have done. So that's what I feel. Hare
So
Krishna.
simply request them to chant. Forget,
Yeah.
don't give any philosophy. Just simply. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Okay, I think Arush want to say something.
Oh,
Messages.
Prabhuji, Arush always says that one thing I have achieved. He
Wow.
always says that Krishna is the supreme. That one
Yes.
thing he says, and few things he knows that Krishna lifted the Govardhana hill to protect the villagers, and then he knows his mother's name, what he likes, butter, and all those things he keeps telling. At
That
least that much happiness I have, Prabhuji, because what I learned I'm teaching.
wonderful. It's
Oh,
wonderful. Yes, Arush. Hare Krishna.
no.
Hare Krishna, Arush Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
How are you? Hmm? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha. Patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.